Hey YouTube, what's up my subscribers? This is Jewel with the J7409 Tropical Update saying hello to everyone, and everyone welcome aboard. Let's go through this stuff a little by little here and see what's happening in the tropics as of now, what it is looking like. Of course, remember, this can change. It usually does. But this is the satellite visible image right now. And you can see the system over here right now that is looking like it may turn into at least a tropical depression, if not a tropical storm. It should go over Florida up and then up in this way. We'll move the map down some. Going up this way and then across Tennessee. I don't know if it's going to hit western Tennessee right now though. Excuse me. At one point I thought it was. I think it may hit the middle part of the state and dump a lot of rain instead of the western section of the state now. But of course all of this can change. Then of course we have our little system right down here. It's real little. It's been going through a lot of dry air and wind shear, as you can see. Tore clean apart. Don't know if it'll make it or not. More than likely it won't. Should be a big rainmaker for everybody over on the island area though. So you guys get right for that, okay? And then, of course, we have this one over here now that has come off the coast of Africa. Everybody, we got to watch this one for real. We'll turn on the infrared right quick. You can see this is down here. This has got lots of clouds and energy in it. No vorticity yet, but all the makings and ingredients for something that could form, and I think it will form. Coming up, say, maybe around the 20th or a little later in September. It looks like it is going to do something. Still going to watch this little area right here for my friends on the islands, though. I think it's just going to be a rainmaker for you guys. And everybody in Florida and along the Gulf Coast states, we got to watch this coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Maybe even Monday. As we see exactly what it does and what it turns into. I don't think it'll turn into a hurricane. Who knows? It could. Anything's possible these days, and it's going to be in the warm Gulf. But right now, I could change my mind, but I'm pretty sure it'll turn into a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm. And look what else is in Africa over here. Right here. This is going to be pushing across. When this sucker comes off, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. Now, why do we use satellite pictures? It all goes with something called Dvorak classification. What is that? Well, Dvorak classification. Now, as you can see, this is from Florida State University. Real smart people, this is the genesis on these systems. AL95 and AL94. They're giving them both a 30% chance, like I said. I'm going to keep my eyes on this one. Anything can happen with it, just as this. This is the first thing we're going to have to deal with here in the mainland, though. So we're going to concentrate mostly on this one as of now. The one off of Africa, they're not doing anything with it right now, but I'm telling you folks, it's probably going to turn into a hurricane before it's all over. Now I'm on the European model, okay? We all know the European model doesn't go out as far as the GFS, but I have the GFS with the European combined here. We're going to see what it looks like. This is this afternoon around 5 p.m. Here is the system we're watching right up here. I need to turn on the pressure gradient so we can see when it actually turns into a low pressure system, if and when it does that. So here we go right now. We're going to click on through to tomorrow, say around 9 a.m. in the morning. What is going on? We can see the little system down here did try to have some low activity to it with a little bit of vorticity, but there's not enough stuff there, folks, to make a storm. Okay, looking like rain down in here. Now when we come back up, the rain has started over the Bahamas. You can see right in here it's trying to get a little vorticity, but there's not that much going on at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we will click over to around 10 p.m. tomorrow night, and let's see what it's looking like now. As we move along, still trying, still putting water over the Bahamas here. And out here we have this one that has formed now. that was right around here off the coast of Africa, right under the islands here. Here's this little system here. It's just a rainmaker at this point. That's all it is. So Friday at 11 a.m., what is everything looking like? Well, it's looking like this. More rain over the Bahamas. A great deal of rain over the Bahamas. Now we got a little bit more vorticity going on. Could be a tropical depression Friday morning. That's what it's looking like. Down here, still trying to get its act together, but it is a low pressure system now. Well, and it looks like it could collect, getting much rain all around it. If it keeps up, it could collect and become maybe a tropical storm or a hurricane. So, Friday at 11 p.m. at night, where will this system be up here? Still up around the Bahamas, but spreading rain now into the Gulf from it. And you can see it's still trying to hang on and still hadn't made its mind up. Still think it's a tropical depression at this time, though, as we move along to Saturday morning around 11 a.m. Let's see what is going on, and boom, we have our low, 29.87. Lots of heavy rain bands coming into it here now. This one out here is getting more vorticity to it, slowly but surely, but still no big deal. And over here, we have another one that is popping off the coast of Africa. So what I'm going to do is come down just a bit, because we really want to concentrate on the first one over here to see what happens. So let's make the screen just a little bit bigger so we can see it a little better and see what's going on. And we can move it over this way some so we can really check it out. So let's go to Sunday around 9 a.m. And it's centered more or less right on the west coast of Florida, okay? Now, these rain bands are going around looking like at this point, we'll try to zoom up just a hair here, see if we can get a little better picture here of where it may be close to. And that pressure system's right over. I'm trying to see the name, so I'll move it up just a couple of hours. If it'll move up just a little bit. Tampa. That's where it looked like it was at. The center over Tampa. Now, it's got lots of rain in it. Now, once again, this is only the European model. This is only the European model, but I like the European model. So, what's going on with all this rain? What about wind at this time? So, the regular wind really is no big deal. It's looking just like a low depression center, okay? That's what it's looking like. Here we go. 14 knots, no big deal. This is sustained winds now. 28 knots, no big deal, nothing you can't handle. Does it have any wind gust in it? Let's check and see. Yes, it does. Looking like the highest wind gust is around 44 knots. So that's like tropical storm wind gust. Okay? Tropical storm wind gust. So we'll go back down to the rain right quickly here. We'll move the map down just a hair. We'll go up to Monday, say around 8 a.m. Monday morning. This is on the 16th, and now it has moved up over Tallahassee with lots of rainfall in it. A little over almost 2.5 inches in 3 hours. Where you see that white, that is a lot of rain. It's going to go right over practically the center of Florida and move up is what it's looking like as of now, bringing rain all the way from South Carolina and Georgia, Florida, and also Alabama. By Monday evening, I should say, around 11 p.m., it should move on up some into Georgia, straddling the Alabama and Georgia line, state line right in here. What about the wind now that it's on land? Still not looking bad at all. Still not looking bad at all. What about the wind gust? Have they died down? They're still trying to hang around up around Albany, and that's at 46 knots. That's tropical storm gust is what it's looking like, with sustained winds that you can handle just with tropical storm gust. But it does look like it's going to be a rainmaker, as I suggested all along. We'll have to wait and see and make sure this track goes exactly like this, because it could change. A lot could change, as all you guys know. but it looks like it's moving right on up this way now, and it should go on up and out. Now, this is not the second system we see when we go to the National Hurricane Center. This is the one that's come off the coast of Africa. I've moved it all the way till Friday, the 20th of September. This is the wind, folks. You can see the wind, and it's over the Bahama area again, okay? Going up over Clarence Town, and it should move on. We don't know if it's going to ride the coast or if it's going to go on out. What's the wind in this sucker? It's a lot. Look at that. 119 knots. Yes. 95 knots is 109 miles per hour. Look at that. That's 119 knots, folks. And that's the wind gust. What's the regular wind in this thing? Very, very, very high. Okay? Here we go. 64 knots. So that's a good 68 mile per hour sustained wind. Now, this is a very high-end tropical storm with hurricane gust in it. I think it probably will keep on intensifying as days go by after it is in this area. Would you look at the pressure? 28.54. We really have to keep our eyes on it. Now, over at the National Hurricane Center, we do have right here disturbance number 1. Still right now it's a large area of showers and thunderstorms, and I've showed them to you now on the satellite. It was located along a sharp surface trough near eastern Cuba through southeastern Bahamas into the western Atlantic. Now the conditions are forecast to become more favorable for development late this week, and a tropical depression could form near the northwestern Bahamas or South Florida as early as Friday. That's the day after tomorrow. Now, future development is possible over the eastern Gulf of Mexico later this weekend, and disturbance will likely produce a locally heavy rainfall, amounts of and gusty winds across the Bahamas through Friday and across Florida during the weekend. 2 days of formation, 40%, 5 days, 60%. I do think it will turn into a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm, hopefully not a hurricane. Now this little system out over here, disturbance number 2, it's about 500 miles east of the Lesser Antilles, and it is accompanied by a few thunderstorms showing little organization. Now we saw that on the satellite too. This system is forecast to move westward, where the shear wind, the upper level winds, will become less favorable for tropical cyclone formation. I don't think it's going to make it, folks. We'll keep our eyes on it, though. I think it's going to be a big rainmaker for all my friends on the islands. 2 days, 10%, 5 days, 10% chance of forming. Now, when we get over here to disturbance number 3, this tropical wave is located in the far eastern Atlantic Ocean near the Cabo Verde Islands. Now, it's forecast to move quickly westward during the next several days. Environmental conditions may become even more favorable for development as the system approaches the Lesser Antilles from late this weekend into early next week. Right now, in 2 days, it ain't going to do nothing. It's got zilch chance of forming. But in 5 days, it has a 30% chance of forming. So maybe by the time it gets over here, it should not be any more than tropical storm strength. Who knows? It could change. You know, I'm just telling you what it looks like now. But it is going to bring you guys a lot of rain. But by the time it hops on up and gets on up in these areas over here, it's going to be a tropical storm, it looks like, with hurricane wind gusts, and it probably will keep on intensifying. Why? Because the water is so hot right up in here. And that's where it's going to go, okay? So we'll have to wait. And it's a lot stronger than this system here. This one has a better chance of actually turning into a tropical storm and a hurricane. This one could turn into a tropical storm. I know it'll turn into a tropical depression with tropical storm gust winds probably at some point. Hopefully it won't turn into a hurricane, though. I don't think it has enough time to right now. But if it stalls out, anything is possible. And this is the Invest 95 Model Intensity Guidance. This is over at Tropical Tidbits, courtesy of Levi Cowan. Thank you very much, Levi. We can see only the ship models have it up at a Category 1 hurricane strength. Most of these are keeping it at tropical storm or tropical depression levels at this time. So we will see what happens with it. We're going to watch it. I'm going to keep you informed. I would advise everyone who lives in Florida to make sure you listen to your local weather and make sure you keep up with this system as it develops, because by Friday you are going to start feeling rain from it. So please be aware and stay safe, okay? Now, so far as the second X goes, I think it's not going to make it, more or less be a rainmaker for all the islands in the chain here. This third one, it could turn into a hurricane and cause a lot of people a lot of problems, folks. Gonna have to watch this one big time. And it's looking like another one's gonna pop off the coast in another 3 or 4 days. And that's your tropical update right now. Everybody stay safe. Have a good day, a safe day, a blessed day. Peace, loving kindness to each of you. Please keep up with these things. I think we've got like 80 more days of hurricane season. So it's far from over. Let's hope everything goes along. No more injuries, no more deaths, and no more devastation this year. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Peace, love, and kindness to all. Thanks for watching.